No, we doing the documentary for robbers. I'm doing everything because it's real, uncut, raw. That's just what it's all about, standing up, being your own, doing what you gotta do to help. You don't want to help, get the fuck out the way. You ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing. Why you want to spread that bad vibe, spread that HIV talk? I don't want to hear that shit, killing our mojo. Feel me? You ain't gotta just do shit to people to wear them down. Talk shit wear people down too. They talked about us that we ain't got no sidewalk, but we been crab bashing around this motherfucker on y'all. All you other niggas from other cities can't come up through this motherfucker. None of that niggas get their ass rolled on, but we ain't got sidewalks. The fuck out of here. You soft potato baked ass niggas. This the slums for real, nigga. Other communities, it's clean, nigga. It's the dirt around this bitch, nigga.
This is a story about a place you never read about in the papers, or never read about in your history books, or never see it broadcasted across your TV screen. Until now. I spent a great part of my life in this little village that stretches over 1.5 miles. A place where my roots are deep. A place where my family namesake has a place in both tradition and history. A place where everybody knows your name, background, and origin. It's the home of the pathways, mud, and no lights. A village full of pride. When it's time to come together, you see a village united strong as an army of one. This is a place we call the MUDD.
All the mayors from Thomas, from Keller to this award board. Keller's award, I started with 12. 12 is enough. They got 13 mayors. He's a 13. Tyrone Ward is the 13th mayor of Robbins. And we begin with Thomas J. Keller. He was from 1917 to 1920. And second, we had Mr. Robert H. Bryant, 1920 1972. 1920. Third was Mr. Richard Flowers. Fourth was Mr. Samuel E. Nichols. Fifth was Mr. John S. Richardson. Sixth was Mr. Hollis L. Reed. Seventh was Mr. Theodore Hendricks. Eighth was Mr. Ernest Mackey. Mr. Marion L. Smith reigned at number 9. Mr. Richard Valentine elected at number 10. Then came John W. Hamilton at number 11. Last but not least, we arrived at number 12. Mayors came in the village of Robbins, elected their first female, first African female, in the person of Miss Irene H. Brody. As the 12th mayor, she leaned towards an overdue change, like shake up and tear down by showing tear down. Yes, Mayor Brody spirited a long needed village administration cleanup and tear down by showing by tearing down the abandoned buildings. Like I'm sitting on one now. Okay.
I had to talk with Mr. Spencer, and he was explaining that it was a total of 13 mayors in the village. Since the village existed, Robbins turned 100 years old. At the time, Mayor Ward was the mayor. Since then, the village has elected the youngest black mayor in the state of Illinois. Not just the village of Robbins, but the state of Illinois, which is a big deal. Shouts out to Mayor Bryant, who's doing a wonderful job right now. I just had to go ahead and put that out there. We came up in the Mayor Brody era. From my knowledge, Mayor Brody, she was the first female mayor of the village of Robbins, and she had she had a stranglehold on the elections at the time, because she was the mayor for years before she passed. And as you know, Mayor Brody had her battles in politics and everything like that, and a lot of corruption. Like, what city, what village, state doesn't have corruption, doesn't have politicians playing the game and all that type of stuff? And I'm not here to bash no politicians or anything like that. I'm not even here to say all politicians are corrupt, but these things definitely do exist. During her tenure, she had a lot of questionable things happen during her time.
This one issue, county and state. We strive to grow without the inclusion of other races, creeds. I'm gonna say we can't make it without including the other races and creeds. We can't really make it out here with just staying black. In closing, we must give a roaring shout out as well as applaud to the pioneers of the past and the leaders of our present and for all the service rendered. We got some close comers, but they had to give Robbins first place in that. See, they started out in Robbins by electing their own. They was able to elect their own judges, their own police chief. Each mayor that got in there, their own people. They had a kangaroo court down there because they selected their own judges. They dogged it out from the get. See, and only the ones in position got paid, got the graft money. They got the under the table money. They bought them a couple Cadillacs and shit. They got a couple of homes too. They gerrymandered the whole area. They sold out pieces, chopped off pieces to different other municipalities, and so they got paid under the table for that. Sold half of that over there on Cicero. Robin went all the way to Cicero there.
Yeah.
Once upon a time we had the airport there, right at that point where that shopping center is there.
Oh, everybody on the field?
Oh man, from motherfucking Pulaski to the new project. That was like that's when I got a chance to explore Robbins.
Right.
Like for real as a kid. Like all the shit I wasn't exposed to in Harvey, we did in Robbins.
Dig this more here. Everything, goddammit, I couldn't do in these other neighborhoods or that I was doing 10 times worse, I was bringing that shit from Robbins. You know what I'm saying? Like I was bringing that Mudville to everywhere else I went. You know what I'm saying?
See, all my family was my friends.
See, I had, when I went to Robbins, it was only for a few reasons.
We was our first friends. You know what
all
I'm saying?
my family there, they all own property, all had houses and shit out there. But then our families were cool with all the other families. So when I go out there, I'm going to kick it with family.
For those who don't know about Robbins, I'll give y'all a couple of spots monumental. Y'all probably done heard about the Bel Air, maybe Manny's Blue Room, maybe the new projects, the trailer courts, the old projects, Troggins, Lydia Healthcare, you know where that's at on Kersey. We're in between Kersey and Pulaski. We got a little K-Town out here.
Definitely a lot of landmarks. Dave talked about, we all know about Manny's Blue Room, the Bel Air, the Shady Rest, the Browns, Mary's Diners. It was probably the dirtiest restaurant you ever want to see, but they had some of the best food on the planet. From, all your greasy spoon, they had some of the best greasy spoon food on the planet. Might not have been sanitized, it might not have been the most sanitized place in the world, but Mary's Diners was one of those places that everybody frequented. We talked about Blanche's, but you can't mention Blanche's if you don't mention Mary's Diners. The double cheese steaks. All the shorties call them glizzies now, but people used to eat those fried foot-long Polishes. Not me, but I always went for the double cheese steaks. Like the cheese steaks was the headliner. And I just wanted to go ahead and show Mary Diners some love. In a perfect world, we'll still have Mary Diners to this day. Unfortunately, it's no longer there anymore. It burned down like some years ago. It was like back in the 90s, I want to say.
That's over there across Pulaski, GD's, BD's over there, Stone's over there, a few Vice Lords. Them the main gangsters out here, GD's, BD's, Vice Lords, P-Stones. We the least out of all of them, got the biggest set.
Woo, it was a motherfucker here, bro. Coming up in the Ville, man, back in the 90s, man. There was a lot of gang banging, a lot of bullshit, man. You couldn't really go nowhere without getting into shit, man. Yeah. Talking about the new projects, trailer courts, the underground, Fifth Ward, South Park. Kitty Road was called Long Beach. Old projects was called Oakland. New projects was, Little Compton. Trailer courts was Money Earning Mount Vernon. Then the underground came later when the PDs came out here. The UG was a self-contained unit that pretty much held their own in a Ville full of monsters, bro.
A lot of the older people that was a little bit older than me, they always talked about how everything was zoned, how everything was regulated in terms of the gangs and everything like that. But told through my eyes, I pretty much went everywhere. And no matter how territorial it was, I was pretty much cool with everybody. And we can sit here and go all day and start name dropping all these different people. But we decided that we just gonna keep it simple. And we don't have to do no name dropping or nothing like that. If you know, you know. We ain't gonna speak on those stories.
Everybody know what I'm saying? Everybody had their downfalls, motherfuckers get into it and all that shit, but at the end of the day, shit. Motherfuckers shit. They go see that nigga in the next hour within, you know what I'm saying, get into it with a motherfucker, so either go dead in the situation, shit, or like the fuse to that motherfucker.
So in that case, what's the advice you'll give to the youth, like the next generation of kids coming up out here?
I'd say shit, this shit bigger than this. You know what I'm saying? Like coming down this motherfucker, shit. You know what it is, shit. Seeing it is hard around this motherfucker. You ain't got that heart in that mind. This motherfucker bring you down. You be fucked up. Cause all you seeing is motherfucking junkies. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no jobs around this motherfucker. That's why I try to tell that shit. Stay in school, get that diploma, shit. And whatever you think you can do, shit, push for it. Don't let the motherfucker tell you can't do something. Shit, the sky's the limit around this motherfucker.
We just made and built for this shit. We worked hard for this shit. But we so righteous that it was just handed to us. You feel what I'm saying? Right. And if you got faith, you understand where I'm coming from. And none of our houses getting shot up and none of that shit, nigga. True shit, I go to sleep right here. Daytime, nighttime, like so much worried about what? And I ain't gotta feed the wolves, nigga. They better feed their goddamn self. Shouts out to everybody from this motherfucker. Shouts out to everybody coming to this motherfucker. Show us love and shit, man. But it ain't no different than nowhere else. Just ain't communitized yet. Still all niggas. A lot of people don't even know that or even realize that. You know what I'm saying? How the Europeans or the Mexicans and the Arabs or wherever, they got their own little sections inside these own little cities, like their own communities. inside these communities, we still all black. There's a few other families out here, but for the most, it's still all black though. Like, that's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, we get bombed on first. Like, they don't want to see us really wake up and get the investment into our community and make this motherfucker real powerful like it should be, because it's all blacks. You feel me? Everybody quit to put blame on somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck all that, what's done is done. But they fail to realize there's always a solution to the fuck up. You feel me? You just gotta work at it, like, and it don't take much. Everybody already on the monkey see, monkey do level. Some of y'all quit bullshitting and give motherfuckers something really to follow. And you have a strong ass team behind you, strong following.
My brother Big Mo, God bless his soul, man. Doing this documentary, I've talked to a lot of people over the years, you know what I mean? This journey started in 2013, and I've been doing this documentary ever since, on and off. I kind of put it to bed for a little while, as y'all know, and it's a lot of people that's on this documentary spoke their piece that are no longer with us, and some of them are incarcerated, some of them passed away, unfortunately. A good friend of mine, Big Mo, whom y'all know as Big Dave, unfortunately passed a few years ago. There's a few more others that when I watch it, it's a little bit eerie. He had a lot of interesting things to say, a lot of things I couldn't even put on this documentary because it was so raw and uncut, as y'all saw in the beginning. That's my brother, man. He did a lot of things behind the scenes for me, man. Like, he was one of the first of a selected few that actually contributed in a lot of different ways, not just speaking his thoughts. He even donated money before. I didn't ask him to do it. He wanted to do it. And this was one of the things that kind of made me want to push forward and do more with this documentary. And then since those times, this thing is just slowly but surely starting to grow more and more. We often talk about growing up in Robbins, obviously, and there's a lot more to the story, and we can possibly get everything that we want to. So I'm gonna try to keep this thing going as much as possible.